Hey there, this is Andrew with ADS, here to bring you the very best in marketing and branding tips, as well as business tips for those of you who are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and personal branders. Welcome and thanks so much for being here. Today, the thing I wanted to share with you is about gratitude, gratefulness, specifically because this is, let me tell you what day this is. This would be day 330 of the year. And for that time, I have been keeping this entire journal daily for all of 2019, a daily journal of gratitude. And today I'm going to share with you about what I've learned in a year's worth of gratefulness. What will that do for you, especially for those of you who are entrepreneurs, especially for those of you who are entrepreneurs, okay? So let's go. So first, let me tell you why I did this in the first place. Like whatever came upon me to say, ooh, you should do a gratefulness journal for a whole dang year. Well, as many of you, if you've been following this channel for a while, you may know that so far every year on New Year's Eve, and you're welcome to join me, God willing, this New Year's Eve, assuming this will be pull-offable. I made up that word just now. Assuming we can pull this off again, New Year's Eve, we do a whole thing, Facebook Live, all about choosing our one word for the year. Our one word for the year. And what will be our one word for 2020. So last year for 2019, my one word was grateful. Grateful. I specifically, intentionally wanted a year of gratefulness. And why? Really because of something that actually Brene Brown said, which was that, as many of you know, Brene Brown is a vulnerability expert. She's been interviewed by Oprah. She's done a TED Talk, not TEDx, TED Talk. Like Brene is the woman, and she is extra awesome at what she does. And she's a researcher at heart. She's a researcher, but she's also a fabulous storyteller. And so she's into vulnerability. And one of the things she said is that she will not even speak about joy without also speaking about gratefulness. She says the two are inextricable. You cannot separate them. Joy and gratefulness are inextricably related. And the moment she said that, I was like, yes, I have to have this in my life. Like, I need to be focusing in this area. And so I made grateful my word for the year. And I'd done a little bit of a grateful journal before. I wasn't super consistent with it. I would do it for a little streak and then I, leave it alone for a while and forget about it and all this. And so I said, I'm gonna make grateful my word for the year. And that's gonna make me consistent with my grateful journal, and it did. And so making gratefulness my focus for the year ensured that no matter what, this gratefulness was going down every day. Every day. And so let me tell you what doing this journal involved. And I'm telling you this because I'm hoping that you will incorporate this as a daily habit. I adore it as a daily habit. And even though I will be choosing another word for the year, for next year, this is a habit I'm not letting go of for life. I pray for life. So, that's how good this is. So every night, what happens is every night you write down at least 3 things that you are specifically grateful for in that day. Entrepreneurs, this is very pertinent for you in particular. 3 things, at least 3 things you are specifically grateful for in that day. Not just the generic, don't say the same 3 things every day. In the Bible Belt South, people are known to say they're grateful for life, health, and strength. Oh my God, if I hear that one more time, I might die. Life, health, and strength. Yes, we know you're grateful for your life and your health and your strength. Yes, but specifically for today, specifically for today. What happened today? What happened in this day? So not to make this extra biblical. However, in the Bible, it says, God said, give us this day our daily bread. That's a Lord's Prayer. A lot of people know the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day. I heard another YouTuber talk about this recently, and I was like, yes, exactly. It so sticks with that. Give us this day is so important, because all we ever have is today. All we ever have is today. Tomorrow truly is never promised. Yesterday is now history. What we have is the present. Give us this day. And so in this specific day, we are thinking about, what am I specifically grateful for today? And so the Grateful Journal is about writing down at least 3 things specific to this day. And so, I can look back through here and thumb through, and I always do this right before I go to bed. Regardless of how tired I am. I try not to go to bed so dog tired that I just want to fall out by the time I'm done with my day. I try to give myself a little bit more, like when I still have just a little bit more gas in the tank left, to be able to have a little bit of time left in my day to be thoughtful about this gratefulness journal. So at a minimum, 3 things. And I say a minimum of 3 things because guess what? I've learned it is never just 3. It is never just 3. Even when it is specific to this day, it is never just 3. It is always more. It's always more. And so it's true what they say, that the more you have to be grateful for, the more you will have to be grateful for. It's just a continuous positive, uplifting cycle. And let me tell you something else I learned doing this. It really does not matter what's happening around you. The things outside of your control, they will continue to happen. Things you cannot control will continue to happen in your life, regardless of whether you're doing this grateful journal or not. Crap will happen. Things will go wrong. You'll get a flat tire. You'll get in a small little wreck and have to deal with that crap. And, you'll lose a client. You'll lose a major account out of nowhere. You'll be strapped for time. You wish there were 5 of you. There's not, and you let a ball drop somewhere and it costs you something. You name it, ish will go wrong all the time. And it just does. And gratefulness does not get rid of that. It doesn't. But what it does do is it works all in here. Your mindset and your heart and feelings and the way you perceive the world and what's happening to you. Gratefulness, doing this practice will make you grateful for the challenges you experience, for the crap that comes your way. You'll learn to say, thank you. Thank you for this crap just came my way. As challenging as it is, as heartbreaking as it might be, as unbelievable in timing that it might have, you will start to learn to appreciate even the challenges. You'll look at it and be like, ooh, what is this? Okay, let me think about what this came here for. Let me think about why this was brought to me. Because it was either meant to teach you something or it was meant to teach you something. Crap is always there as a test, and it is there to help mold and shape us and refine us and prepare us for bigger and better things. And so truthfully, you'll start to look at stuff so differently. Your entire perception will 100% change. Your entire perception will 100% change. And you'll start to look at stuff and you'll say, thank you for that problem that just landed in my lap. Thank you for this annoying person who keeps coming in my way, because guess what? That was meant to teach me something about me. It was meant to teach me something about myself. and how I can deal with the world better and deal with a personality like that better. Because guess what? Maybe that personality will keep coming until you learn the lesson yourself. And maybe by the time you learn the lesson, you'll be far more advanced in character than you ever were before. You'll learn to start looking at things like that. It's crazy to think that, but you will. And so that's what's so great. Because I can tell you, like I said, the gratefulness journal is not a shield. It doesn't protect you from the crap that happens in your world and your life. That crap will still happen. But what it does do, again, it changes this and it changes this. And therefore it changes your perception going forward. And that makes a world of difference. They do say perception is reality. In this world of marketing and branding, perception is reality. It's why we work so hard to create perceptions around brands, around products, around our companies, around our personal brands and styles and everything, because perception is reality. And so therefore it's true for our own selves. Our own perception is our own reality. So it lends it, well, this just says, truthfully, you can create your own reality. And if you have the capability to do that, do it with positivity. Do it in a way that brings you joy. And truthfully, selfishly, that is the number one reason why I did a gratefulness focus this year, is because I said, Brene Brown said, gratefulness is inextricably related to joy. She will not talk about gratefulness without talking about joy. It is that inextricably related, it is that highly correlated with each other. And so for that reason, I said, you know what? I want more joy this year. I do. And so I'm going to focus on gratefulness. And I know that by focusing on gratefulness, I will have a much more joyful year. And guess what? I have had an amazing year, despite some downturns and some lessons learned and some things that went wrong and stuff. Just like I said, those outside forces will continue to happen. But this gratefulness practice got me through that. It did. And guess what? I also had the most amazing year ever as an entrepreneur. Year 3 of entrepreneurship, I've had the most amazing year ever. The most amazing year ever. And I 1000% credit it to gratefulness, the practice of gratefulness. 1000% credit it to the practice of gratefulness. So I implore you, as you are getting into your 2020, and you, entrepreneur or aspiring business owner, or wherever you are in your walk, if you are thinking about how to take your 2020 and your next decade off to a super high, next level status, please incorporate some gratitude. Please incorporate some gratitude. It is critical, essential as small business owners to incorporate, practice some gratitude. Because guess what? We, of all people, I would contend that we have more crap going on. I think we have more crap going on than the average individual. The person who goes to work all day, they've got their own level of crap. And entrepreneurship crap is like 10 times greater. It's gotta be. And so how much more do we need to be centered? How much more do we need joy in our lives? How much more do we need a balance with all that crap? A way to perceive those things that are happening in our world, in a way to deal with it, in a way that doesn't drive us crazy. Mental health is a big deal for entrepreneurship. It is. Depression is a number one thing that a lot of small business owners encounter. And I'm a pretty positive person. And I was like, I'm immune to depression. Depression doesn't happen here. I don't get that. And you know what? I've learned to see, like, not that I've ever been clinically diagnosed with that, but I have looked at my own situations in life and been like, you know what, maybe you are a bit depressed. Maybe you are a bit down right now. And, to myself, I was like, it's okay to admit that to yourself. It's okay to admit that to yourself, because if you can admit that, then you can start looking at it as like, okay, there's a problem. And then what can I do to alleviate, fix this problem? You can start to attack the problem versus just pretending it's not there. And so when I tell you that gratefulness and joy are the thing, you need to get some in your life. It will 100%. And again, I'm going to tell you, like, gratefulness, I have 1,000% gratefulness to the reason that I've had the best year ever. My year 3 was my best year ever as an entrepreneur. And it started off as the hardest and it became the greatest. The greatest, the best. I had business coming out of the woodworks for no reason, seemingly. After my little downturn, I was like a little bit depressed, like, oh my gosh, I have to get my life together. Oh, what am I doing? After that little spell this year, and I started putting a little action plan together, and I was like, okay, let me think through this. Let's get through this. And you start putting your little action plan together and getting some inertia moving in your life. The universe, God, however you want to think of those greater forces in our life, responds to that. And it says, boom, she got it. Let's go. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. All I can tell you is that I am a believer in the power of gratitude. And I am a believer in the power of joy in your life. So regardless of whatever you feel spiritually and whatever, everyone understands gratitude and everyone understands joy. And I'm telling you what Brene Brown said was true. You have gratefulness, you will have joy. You practice gratefulness, you will consistently have more joy. I promise you. I promise you. And so that's really all. I'm done gushing about my gratefulness journal. I know this is like lightly related to my business world. However, I had to share this with you. And so as you head into your Thanksgiving season, for those of you watching this in real time, when this comes out, at this moment, it happens to be Thanksgiving. And so as you're heading into your Thanksgiving season, everyone does their gratefulness post this week. And I am telling you, let that gratefulness continue through the end of the year and into your January 2020 and beyond. Let it carry you through Thanksgiving next year and watch what happens. I'm Andrea with the ADS Agency, again here to bring you the very best in marketing and branding tips, as well as business tips for those of you who are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and personal branders. I invite you to follow us wherever you are: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, the ADS Agency. That's THEADS Agency. And that would be wonderful. Just say hello. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe. The button is below. Subscribe to this channel and also like this video. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear what you have to say about gratitude and joy. Anything. I would love to hear that. I love when you talk to me. Also, if you're listening to this on podcast, Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you are listening to this, be sure to rate my podcast, leave a little review. I listen and read all of the feedback, so be sure to leave me a comment there. I would love that. And otherwise, have a marvelous, wonderful Thanksgiving in 2020. Cheers to more gratefulness and